everybody, this is Diana from So Very Crafty, and I know it's been a bit of a time since I've recorded a video for you guys, but I have been super busy at work. But today I have decided to make this Cricut Joy dust cover for you. I recently made a Cricut Maker 3 dust cover that was very popular with you guys. So I thought, since I just bought the Cricut Joy for my very new blog, paperdaisy.com, so head over there if you're into Cricut crafting. I bought this for card making and smaller projects. And so I wanted a dust cover. I didn't want to buy the travel case that you can buy for this. So I just made this little dust cover and wanted to share with you the pattern, which of course is free from So Very Crafty, and show you how to put it together. It is so simple. It is a beginner sewing project. Anybody can make this. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, give me the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, ding that bell for notifications for future So Very Crafty videos, which I hope will be coming some more often than they have been. And let's get started on how to make this super simple Cricut Joy dust cover. Now, as you will notice, the Cricut Joy is wider at the front than it is at the back. So I have created a pattern that you can get if you go to where it says see more under the description section of the video, and there will be a link to this pattern. So let's set that aside. And the body of the pattern looks like this. As you can see, it is wider at the front than it is at the back. And then you have these side pieces. And you're going to need 2 of these. And if you cut them with your fabric folded together, then you will get them facing opposite directions, which is what you want. And there are 2 little triangles. There's 2 triangles on one side and 1 triangle on the other. And on the larger piece, there are double triangles on one end and single triangles on the other end, so we can match up our sides. Super simple. The body pattern comes in 2 pieces, so you'll have to tape it together before you cut it out, but that's not a problem. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and cut out some fabrics here for you. I've cut out this polka dot fabric for my outer piece. And I have, as you can see, 2 pieces of side fabric that are facing the opposite directions of each other, and 1 body piece. And then I have some lining pieces that are the same, 2 outer pieces and 2 side pieces and 1 body piece. And then I've cut out a 4-inch by 4.5-inch square of a rectangle of fabric that I'm going to use as the handle for my little Cricut Joy dust cover to take it on and off without any problems. So what do? I am going to reach over and get my pin cushion. And if you want to make this little mannequin pin cushion, I have instructions on the blog, soverycrafty.com, on how to make this mannequin pin cushion. I use it all the time. It's super simple to make, and it's kind of a fun little project. So we have our narrow end and our long end. And we have one side. We're going to take our one side And we are going to place it right sides together, starting at the narrow side. But it doesn't really matter as long as you match up the little triangles. And I'm just going to pin this. And I'm going to pin it all the way around. Until I get to the other side of my side piece. And you will see once we get to the other side of the side piece that everything should line up. There we go, that's better. Now you can see that our little dust cover is coming together nicely. Now we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. We are going to match up our double and we can actually come over here and match up our single if we like. And then just pin all the way around. It's a little fidgety because the pieces aren't that big, because the Cricut Joy is really a small machine. And that's all we do to create our little piece. And we're going to do the same thing with our lining piece. But when we put our lining fabrics together, we are going to leave a little opening on one side of our fabrics so that we can turn this right sides out. Now, it's kind of up to you. You don't need to do a lining for this. You could just kind of hem this up if you want. But I like a lining because it really gives it a nice finished look and you don't see all the raw edges on the inside. So we're going to put a lining in this. And I will create this off camera so that you don't need to see me do it. Because it's exactly the same as this. So let's head over to the sewing machine and let's stitch this together. And then we'll move on to our next step. Okay, so here we are at our sewing machine. I've taken my sewing table off of my machine because I'm going to need it off later on in the process. So I just took it off. Now I'm going to stitch these sides, right sides together, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'm going to take these pins out as I go along. And take your time with this because it's easy to miss these curves and you'll end up with holes in your outer dust cover, and we don't want that. Okay, so there's one side of our project, and now we need to stitch the other side. Okay, so there is our outer dust cover finished. So I'm just going to quickly put together our lining, and we'll head over to the workstation and move on to our next step. Okay, so I have both my outer dust cover and my lining. And you will see on my lining, I have left this little hole here because we are going to use that for turning. Now I'm going to take my outer piece, which is right sides out, and I'm going to place it inside of my lining piece, which is wrong sides out, so that when they are placed together, they are right sides together. And keep in mind that we want to make sure that the narrow side is together with the narrow side of the lining. And let's match up these seams. And we're just going to pin these. And I'm just going to pin these on the corners to start. Now, if you are a more advanced sewist, you may not need to pin this at all, or you could just pin them on the corners like I'm doing. If you are a beginner sewist, I would recommend that you put more pins in here, but I'm just going to put these for now. Now we are going to head over to our sewing machine, and we are just going to stitch all the way around using a 1/4 inch seam allowance to join our lining piece with our outer dust cover piece. So let's do that. Okay, so here we are back at the sewing machine, and I am just going to stitch these two pieces together, and this is where my free arm comes in handy. Using my 1/4 inch foot makes things a lot easier because I can just go on the width of the foot. And that's all there is to stitching our lining to our outer dust cover. So let's head back over to our workstation and go on to our next step. Okay, so here we are, and now we need to turn this right sides out. And all we're going to do is reach into our little hole here and pull out the outer piece of fabric, and you'll see that the lining will come with it, and then we can just push the rest of the lining through just like that. Now we have an option. I am going to press my dust cover, and I'm going to top stitch all the way around the bottom, the same way that we stitched the lining to the outer dust cover. But you can make this reversible if you like. And if you're going to make this reversible, we need to close up this hole. Now, if you don't care whether it's reversible or not, you can just stitch this up with your machine and using about an 1/8 inch seam allowance, and it won't be a problem. If you want this to be reversible, I would recommend using ladder stitch to stitch up this seam. That way it is the stitches are invisible, and so when you turn it the other way around, then you will not see those stitches, and it will be invisible. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm not even going to close it up for the rest of this video. I can deal with it later. But for now, I'm going to press the bottom of this so that my lining is firm inside of my project here, and then I'm going to top stitch all the way around the bottom. Okay, so as you can see, hopefully you can see, I have top stitched all the way around the bottom using my free arm. And let's see, that fits perfect on my Cricut Joy. Now I'm going to make the handle. And I have a 4.5 inch by 4 inch piece of fabric. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these short ends in by about 1/4 inch on each side, just like that. And then I'm just going to fold these raw edges to the center, fold them in half, and top stitch all the way around to create the handle, and we'll come back and put it on top of our project. Okay, so there's our little handle. I'm going to take my Cricut Joy and I'm just going to kind of eyeball this and put it in the center, pin it on. You can measure this out if you want to. And then I'm going to just stitch a little box on each end so that I can secure that handle through all the layers, through the lining and through the outer fabric. And that way it serves to keep the lining from falling out when you lift up your Joy dust cover. So let me go and stitch a little box around there and we'll be right back. There you go. We have our handle and we have our Joy cover that fits perfectly on our Cricut Joy. And like I said, if you want, you can turn this right sides or the lining side out. You can add another handle the same color as your lining, and you can have it reversible. Completely up to you. But that's all there is to this super simple little Cricut Joy dust cover project. Now I have two. I hope you enjoyed this project today. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, ding that bell for notifications, and head over to www.soverycrafty.com for a pictorial tutorial on how to make this project. You can also find this at www.paperdaisy.com along with other Cricut crafting projects that you might enjoy separate and apart from So Very Crafty. So I encourage you to head over to Paper Daisy and give that a try and get yourself a Cricut and do some paper crafting, vinyl crafting, wood crafting, almost any kind of crafting you can do with your Cricut Maker 3 and your little Cricut Joy. So that's it for today. I will see you all next time. Bye.